to the Mercenary Miniature Painter YouTube channel. I'm Scott.
And this is John.
And we're finally getting some Dark Elf, High Elf action again in our campaign, seeing as they're meant to be the protagonists. I mean, the High Elves have pulled their weight, to be fair. They've had a lot of battles against the local denizens of the Border Princes.
Johan.
Yeah, especially the Empire. The Empire really taking a dislike to them. But no, the Dark Elves have been... They got smashed ages ago, and I've been trying to manoeuvre them into position to get a favourable battle, but John's been, he's had the advantage of three armies, and he's kind of been able to pick and choose where to fight. So now he's brought the battle to my HQ area, and I desperately need to retake it. So we've only got a few turns left of the campaign. Dark Elves basically need a clean sweep of victories now, really, to have a chance of securing it. So
you need some massacres as well, really.
I do need some bigger. I need to knock out some of these characters, preferably. But yeah, so we're going to push on tonight. We're fighting over a river, so we're doing another bridge capture assault. It's been a while since we've done this one.
Yeah,
I think we did one in the campaign, maybe not.
I don't think we've done one on the channel yet, have we?
I think we might have done a while ago, because remember, I think someone was disparaging about our bridge.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That was you and Alex, wasn't it? Yeah, I was on the Christmas one.
Oh yes, it was. Yeah, that was a long time ago now. So that was pre-campaign. Anyway, we'll show you the armies, and yeah, hopefully we've got a good game for you tonight.
Let's talk through the scenario quickly.
Oh yeah, go on. It's your scenario. So
the bridge is in the middle. No victory points or anything like that. It's basically highest unit strength closest to the bridge, within 3 inches of it. Everything counts as own unit strength, but any model over 11 points, I classes, elite infantry, they get double points just to make them a little bit more relevant. So it stops the horde armies, they're half points, but we ain't got to worry about that tonight. Attacker defender, me and Scott's rolled off. Scott won the roll off and he chose to be attacker. They do have to deploy first, all their units, but they do get first turn. So he's got a lot of scary stuff happening in the first turn. So that is basically the scenario. So we'll go through the deployment and show you the armies. So someone's messed with our microphones tonight, so we'll have to put up with my dodgy camera in, I'm afraid, because we're going to have to talk quite loud to be on there. But this is my army for this evening. I have gone all cav, and we have got some dogs of war in here. So we've got 5 reavers here. They've just got spears. We have got 5 silver helms here, and they are just heavy armour and all that sort of jazz, no commands. We have 5 dragon princes here, full command, and then another 5 silver helms just in front of them there. Another 5 silver helms here, they are full command. We have 5 reavers here, and we have 2 Illyrian chariots. And then in the rare slot, I've got some Rhinox cavalry. So there were some ogres just sort of roaming around the borderlands looking for their master, but Greylord had already seen to him, so they were just left in the lurch, and the High Elves have hired them on for tonight. And then the characters, we have Aorlis, he is there on his horse tonight. We have Commander 1 there. I don't think I ever got my name in my 2. And then 2 mages on horseback. The red one is Heavens. He has got Second Sign and Fort Lightning. And then this guy here is a Seer. The white one, he's on Shadows. And I picked Creeping Death, Pelt of Midnight, and Unseen Lurker. And that is 2,000 points of the High Elves.
Your generals,
oh yeah, and rolling on the... on the intrigue at the court, and I've got this guy tonight, so that's not a very good start. Luckily, we don't panic through Dark Elves, so hopefully, but I'm pretty sure that guy's got terror. So we'll go over to Scott for his Dark Elves.
Alright, so yeah, and for the Dark Elves tonight, I've got 4 units of Dark Riders with repeater crossbows and musicians. I've got a Noble on a Dark Pegasus. I've got 4 repeater bolt throwers, which I'll show you. I've tried to avoid, both of us actually try to avoid any scummy repeater bolt thrower action, but as I said at the intro, I'm extremely pressed and I'm a Dark Elf, so I'm not afraid to be a bit scummy today. So yeah, more Dark Riders, more bolt throwers. That is a large part of my army, to be honest. I've got 2 stupid chariots. I've got the main lady herself, Kyra Shadowcaster. She's my only Dark Elf Lord that's had any success, actually. So she's a level 4 wizard. She has got Chill Wind, Black Horror, Dominion, and Doombolt. I've got level 2 wizard here, and she's got Soul Stealer and the Word of Pain. So I've got 3 heroes tonight, and I've got 7 shades deploying in the woods here. So deployment, as it is, as John said, the bridge is the objective. We do play this way, because if you play with the bridge running across the middle, you do tend to find that no one fights. You just mash up on the bridge, and it's usually a bit of a grind. So we've come at it. We've sent forces around both sides of the river to try and secure it, to bring across a bigger force. This is the river crossing right here on the map section, so right next to where my HQ is, which is currently occupied by the filthy High Elves, and surrounded on all sides by other forces coming in. So it is key that this bridge gets secured, either for John to defend it or for me to push forward with my attacks. And yeah, so we're going to roll for... Oh, no, we don't roll for first turn today, so I just get first turn. So we will come back with mine. I will shake John's hand, and...
I shouldn't really with 4 bolts.
I'm sure a few of these might accidentally be flung off the table by the end of the night. But...
Accidentally.
All right, we'll come back after my turn. Turn 1 for the Dark Elves. So I started off with a failed stupidity. That's my fault for calling them stupid chariots at the beginning. But this one was okay. So over here, everything's kind of moved up like that. These just shifted slightly forward. And then on this flank, she's jumped out of her unit, and these guys all moved up here. Magic phase, I started off with a nice big doom bolt from this lady here onto this unit. John let it go because I rolled a 13, and he was pretty confident that he could bounce it off, and he was right, because even though I did do 3 wounds, he saved 2 of them, and they've got 5 wounds apiece, so they are still pretty happy over here. I then dominioned them though, so they won't be moving this turn. So they are at least diminished as a threat for now. Then I tried to do a chill wind on the Silverhelms next to them, but I only had 1 dice to do that, and only rolled a 2, so he didn't do anything. This guy's got the Wand of Corydon, and he lobbed it at them. John dispelled it, and then of course I rolled a 1, so he doesn't have it anymore, which is slightly irritating, but there we go. Combined fire, so these guys did 3 wounds to the Reavers that were sitting there. The Noble fired his bolt thrower, bolt thrower, that'd be nice, his crossbow, but he didn't do anything, and then the Shades finished them off with a bit of overkill. 2 of the Shades actually split their fire and killed 1 of the Silverhelms in this unit. These guys fired at the Silverhelms, didn't do anything. Bolt thrower fired at the Silverhelms, didn't do anything. This bolt thrower fired at those Silverhelms and didn't do anything. All the shooting over here actually fired at the Silverhelms.
Made a few saves, didn't we?
You made quite a lot of saves, but this one finally did wing a shot at the Silverhelms over here, and John finally failed a save. So not too bad. I've got rid of a unit and a couple of people out of the unit. So just to remind everyone as well, High Elves don't panic against Dark Elves, which is why I tried to go for such shooting superiority, because I am dependent on wiping units out rather than trying to get a couple of wounds and then hope they run away. So over to John, and let's see how much up the table we can get.
Right, turn 1 for the High Elves, pretty uneventful. So there was no charges. I was going to chance these Silverhelms. I didn't in the end, and they would have been out. So they have just come up their full march move right in the face of the Dark Riders. These have just shifted up a bit, because obviously being a bit wary of chariots charging them, I'm not so worried about the Dark Riders. These guys are Dominion, so they can't move. The 2 wizards moved into the woods, and these guys got the Banner of Illyrian, so they have come through the woods and are just on the outside there. The 2 chariots have come around the flank, but before that the Reavers have come up onto there. So that was all the movement, the magic. So I got the Banner of Sorcery on these guys. I did roll for 3 extra dice. I had 10 dice. which is pretty nice, seeing as I only got 2 level 2s. This guy's got the Ring of Corin, so he'd done it on Scott's level 4. Kyra, first of all, Scott did stop that with 2 dice. And then first spell was this Heavens guy here. He's got, he had the Jewel of Dust, so I rolled the Jewel of Dust and 2 other dice. I wanted the second sign before I started. He miscast, and then he rolled an 8. So that was the end of the magic phase for me. And
big sigh of relief on
yeah,
the side of the table.
And just a little bit of shooting was the 2 chariots. They both shot into the Dark Riders. They both 2 hits, 1 wound, and then Scott did save it. So sadly, no Dark Elves dead for the poor High Elves, and that's a pretty pathetic magic phase to start off the day. But things can only go up, Scott, can't they?
True.
Right, over to Dark Elf turn 2.
Turn 2 for the Dark Elves. John is making a lot of saves. It's making me a very unhappy man. Also, this idiot here is making me very unhappy because not only did he fail his stupidity, but he crashed into the other chariot, and both of them are now stuck, which has caused me some consternation. This unit pretty much has accepted that it's going to die, so I've just left them there because I think that they're more annoying where they are now than wherever I could move them to. These 2 here I've slipped onto the bridge, and over here they've moved up to surround the Silver Helms. Magic phase started off really nicely because I did Chill Wind on the chariot on the right there, and John let it go through thinking it probably wouldn't do very much, but it's done 3 wounds, so that was quite nice.
Done 4 wounds, to be fair. I managed to luckily saved one of them.
I was pushing it to get that last one gone, but unfortunately he has survived. Doombolt tried to finish him off, but John did stop that one, and then I tried to cast Dominion on this unit of Silver Helms to really screw up John's plans, but unfortunately he had a Dispel Scroll, so that was gone away, and with no Wand of Corridon on my Noble anymore, that was the end of my magic phase. Shooting was pretty pathetic, considering how many I put, I think, this unit, both of these, actually all 3 of these fired at them, and there's still 1 left. These 2 fired at the Silver Helms and didn't kill anything, but it did go better over here. This unit, this bolt thrower wiped out the Reavers that were sat behind my Dark Riders. Did the Dark Riders kill 1 as well? I think they might have.
Yeah, they killed 2. They shot behind you.
Oh yeah, they killed 2, and then this one finished off the 3.
It was a full unit. Yeah.
Again, it makes such a difference, the non-panic, because normally if you do 2 wounds, you just give up and move on to something else. So I and ahed. Did I finish off that chariot? Did I get rid of the Reavers? I think because the Reavers were further down into my closer to my deployment, they had more options with their charges, whereas a chariot's probably going to be a bit more predictable. Also, it means that John now has more of a debate of does he split them off to fight the chariot, or try to go for my bolt thrower, or get rid of the Dark Riders. Is a bit all in the air. So this side of the table I am dominating, but there is still an annoying elf just winding up my plans. But over here John's got some pretty scary charges that could be incoming soon. So we're over to John's turn 2.
Turn 2 for the High Elves, as Delboy would say. That was lovely jubbly. So on the charges, this guy here, me and Scott did measure it right out as tightly as we could because it was very close, but he was about a quarter of an inch in, if that. But he was in. These guys charged into the Dark Riders that were here. Scott opted to hold. This chariot here charged into the chariot that was there, the unstupid one. Scott opted to hold. And then this chariot here charged that bolt thrower over there, and Scott fled. He got away plenty there, and obviously these charges both went in. The rest of the movements, I didn't know how this was going to go here, but I wanted obviously my Dragon Princes to be threatening all this up here. So I protected them on the flank from the bolt thrower with these Silver Helms, and then because they thought I didn't get into that chariot, I didn't want him flanking them. So the Rhinox Riders decided to sell themselves to help their lord, as good dogs of war do. And that was the end of the movement. The magic phase was pretty uneventful again, but I did get off a good second sign. I did only roll a 1, so I had 1 reroll. Scott stopped the Ring of Corin, and then I done a big Unseen Lurker onto the Dragon Princes, which Scott 4 dice stopped. No, you scrolled it, didn't you?
Scrolled that one.
Scrolled it, sorry.
I just
so
4 left over in the end.
Yeah, so that was the magic phase. on to the combat. So I wanted to start with the Dark Rider one first because that was me most confident. You got to get a bit of confidence up when you're doing it. And we did, the horses done 4 hits and 4 wounds, but Scott did save 3 of them. The knights killed 2, and then my old mate here, old Reaver Bow, he ain't got the Reaver Bow today, so he's actually doing all right. He did kill the rest of the Dragon Dark Riders, sorry. This guy over here completely whiffed his attacks, but Scott whiffed his back, and I held on a 5 because Scott did outnumber me. So he's doing his good nightly service over there, holding another bolt thrower up. And then this chariot over here, I done 6 impact hits, so I didn't have to use my reroll. And then I done 4 wounds. I rerolled one of the ones I missed, so I done 5 wounds, and Scott failed his save. So he did kill it with impact hits. He killed the chariot, and they both overrun into this guy here. So even though we lost this flank second turn, we've now won this one convincingly over here, and it's looking a bit better for us. Scott's gonna, these repeaters are gonna have to start getting a bit more killy, Scott, because your bolt throwers are looking a wee bit out of action at the minute. So this is going to be Dark Elf turn 3.
Right, big magic phase. First spell, I'm going to try and chill wind this lovely wizard here. Gets it on an 8 because I got +1. You need 4 dice to stop it. Nice chance in it. Alright. Oh dear. Right, it does 5 and 4s.
What does the future look like then?
1 or 2?
2. And he's gone. Nicely done. He's chucking a Doom Bolt at the Rhinox Riders. Oh no. 4. What's 4? Alright, that's gone wrong. It's reflected a spell back at me, so I need to stop it on a 6. We'll see, that's cocked. So stop it, but I'm 2 more power dice down, so that was disastrous. Just got that as my roll for a nice black horror on this unit here, so I have to place it on this guy because otherwise I'll be hitting my own chariot. So I got 3 and a partial on a 4. Nope, so just 3. So that's 3 strength tests. So if we say the silver one is your commander,
yeah,
yeah, and I didn't get your champ, so nothing, rubbish.
Turn 3 for the High Elves. Funnily enough, with a depleted magic phase, so I've lost a wizard. It was my best magic phase, typically.
Somebody keeps miscasting.
Yeah, he's been hung ballsing it all up. So charges were only this chariot. I couldn't see the crew, so I just charged the war machine. Remaining moves, this chariot's facing that bolt thrower. These guys have turned and they're conga lining. They've wheeled and conga lined up there. These guys have turned their conga line in here, and these guys reformed. Knowing I'm not going to be able to get away from all his stuff and his wizard, I just thought I'll keep him in there, and if Scott wants to keep hunting me, it'll be doing less magic elsewhere, which is always quite handy, and it'll keep his wizard stuck in the woods, which is good because he won't be able to fly then. So that was why that went there. So straight on to the magic phase. I did roll a 3 for the Banner of Sorcery again, which was dead handy. So I used the Ring of Corin from this guy to try and take the Seal of Grond off her. Scott 2 dice stopped it. And then I used 3 dice to creep in death from him onto his Sorceress. Scott let it go. I done 1 wound to his Sorceress. I never wounded the Pegasus. And then I done a 4 dice Unseen Lurker. I rolled up a 16 and Scott didn't roll nowhere near enough to stop it. So they Unseen Lurkered into the Dark Riders. You can't flee against that. So that was how that went. The combats then, I only managed to kill 2, but Scott did break and I ran him down. We both rolled a 9. And then over here was a stalemate, so I lost by 1 and I've held again. So pretty decent. Turn 3 for the High Elves. We managed to kill more models, which is obviously handy because it's all going to come down to unit strength at the end of the day on the objective. So over to Scott to see what he can do on his turn 4.
Oh, it's all very close. Turn 4 for the Dark Elves. So I backed my sorceress out a bit over here. Nobles had to come forward to threaten this conga line. The surviving crew and no machine have just moved up to there. These guys charged the silver helm that was fighting the bolt thrower. These just rotated slightly their march block, so they wanted to maintain the fact that they're march blocking those dragon princes and just wanted to get a few shots up here. And the shades moved a bit forward so that it would be out of the arc of the bridge, so they won't get charged by a rampaging nobleman. And then, so magic, again, started good. I did a really nasty chill wind again, and those elf mages don't like the cold, do they, John?
It's very cold tonight, isn't it?
So same again, I rolled 3 wounds. So sorry, first of all, John let it go through. I only rolled 3 wounds. 3 hits, sorry. Did 2 wounds, and then John failed to save either of them, so
That elf from armour ain't done me no good, has it, tonight?
no, she's very dead as well. So thankfully, I don't have to weather much magic other than the Ring of Corin now. But then it was all downhill from there. So I failed to cast Black Horror, and then I did get just about sneak through a Doom Bolt, but John stopped it because he had plenty of dice left to go. Shooting though, this bolt thrower saved itself and finished off the chariot that was in front. This guy missed all his shots, or he did 2 hits and no wounds. I can't remember which way around it was, but he didn't do anything. These tried to shoot the chariot before it went down. Obviously it didn't work because I still had to fire the bolt thrower. These fired up on the hill and didn't do anything. But then this guy managed to plink a shot right into the noble. As there's only 4 guys left in the unit, it had to be randomized. It did hit him. It did wound him. Unfortunately, it only did 1 on the D3, so he is still alive. That would have been pretty lovely if I'd have wiped him out. But it's still quite in the balance. So just saying to John, if it weren't for the objective, I'd be feeling pretty confident, because this game is purely won on if you hold the bridge. So numbers wise, he's still got the numbers that he can win it, and I can't afford to just sit back. So hopefully I just need to hope that my shooting can be on point in my last 2 turns and John doesn't do too much damage to me now.
Turn 4 for the High Elves. I'm starting to regret leaving my wizards out of it now because there's not a lot I can do. Scott can kite me a bit round, but charges were the chariot could just see that bolt thrower. As soon as he only moves 9, it was worth a shout. I thought he was going to be out, and he was. But these guys could see these Dark Riders here comfortably, and with their range and a wheel off there, I think they would have been able to get in. So Scott did flee that. He fled just far enough away. A decent 6 for him, which put him nicely there. So that's where they went. The Rhinox Riders have just moved on up because this guy would have been in the back of them. So they're sort of protecting him there and stopping them. And then these guys have just come back round. Ring of Corin, you stopped it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then the chariot plinked 2 shots at the crew that are wandering about. And I did wound 1, but Scott did make a 6-up save. So that was it. A very short turn 4 for the High Elves, on to turn 5 for the Dark Elves.
Turn 5, Dark Elves, and it's again a bit of a mixed bag. Some good shots, but also few missed opportunities. So Kyra moved up over here, Noble moved up over here. These guys rallied. The sorceress has come out to play over here, which was good that she did. These moved back a bit. Shades moved back a bit, and that was that. And then magic phase, I got a chill wind, which did no wounds, a doom ball, which didn't go off, or no, it did.
You only done 1 wound.
1 wound, that was it. Yeah, I did 1 wound. And then I got a soul stealer, which even though John still got 2-up saves, he failed 2, so he lost 2 silver helms to soul stealer. And then in the shooting phase, this one failed to save himself. He only did 1 wound on that chariot. And then that meant that this one here had to fire at it and only did 2 wounds. So it's still there with 1 wound. This one here missed firing at the silver helms. But then these ones here did kill another one. You lost one more from somewhere, didn't you? I've forgotten what happened now.
No, there was only 3 left, mate. You've done
right.
it with the Soul Stealer. You never
Oh,
killed
yes.
nothing else.
Yeah, it was
so.
Soul Stealer.
And
And then
third on one more to the chariot.
the Shades had run, so they couldn't do anything. He plinked a couple of shots, did wound, but John saved easily with a 2-up save. So that's it. That's where we stand. John's got he's got the nasty unit on the hill. So again, even though in a conventional game I think I'd be feeling a bit confident, it is still all to play for.
Turn 5 for the High Elves was just a lot of movement and not a lot else. The only charge was the chariot with 1 wound remaining. Obviously went in against the bolt thrower to kill another one of them off. Remaining moves, this guy left his unit and has just wheeled and come round to there for a bit of march blocking and just to be annoying. This Silver Helm's come up here again for the same reason, just do some march blocking and be annoying. These Rhinox Riders have just reformed on the hill, so obviously anything getting close, they hopefully should be able to kill. And then the Dragon Princes come to there. That was all my moves. And then onto the actual one combat. I did try and do a Ring of Corrin. Scott only did just stop it with 3 dice, but he did stop it. And then over here, I done 5 impact hits. 2 were on the crew, 3 on the machine, and I did kill the crew. So that was that. Yeah, Scott's last turn 6. Let's see what he can do. He's got a few moves to make and a few things he can do. And let's see if he can take this bridge off the High Elves or the Ogres holding it at the minute.
Turn 6, Dark Elves, and that couldn't have gone better if I'm honest. So I just tried to move up as many things as I could onto the bridge to claim it. So the Noble has put himself, basically, the Dark Riders couldn't get out of the range of the Noble that was there and Aorlis, so my Noble, or my whatever he is, Commander Highborn, forgotten what he is, he's just blocking.
I had it right first time, Noble.
It is Noble, isn't it? It always seems strange that the High Elf one isn't Noble.
The High Elf one's the Noble, don't you? Yeah.
He's just a mean bastard. But yeah, he's blocking the way there. And then everything else is just sort of rushed the bridge. The only thing that couldn't get close was these because they were march blocked by the chariot. Magic started off with a chill wind, didn't even manage to cast it, but then I doom bolted Aorlis and did do a wound to him. John rolled a 1 for his save and a 1 for his ward, so that went through. And then the most important one is I got Dominion on these fat boys on here, so they are not going anywhere now. So although they are in prime position on the objective, I don't have to worry about them smashing through my Dark Riders and causing a bunch of panics, which I was worried about. And then shooting is where everything went my way. This bolt thrower here managed to destroy the chariot that was there because it only had 1 wound left. And then these guys did a single wound to the hero in front of them who only had a single wound, so he's now dropped dead. These ones did a single wound to the last Silverhelm, and he has now dropped dead because John failed that save. And then this bolt thrower here did a single wound to the ogres. And that is it. But yes, that's pretty big because now John doesn't have very much with which to hold the bridge, and I've done a lot of damage. So we'll do the quick turn 6. We might have a challenge in there, but we'll see. Come back after John does his. That could have been pivotal.
Yeah, just a little bit. Obviously, with the Dominion on the Ogres, I think that would have swung the game in my favour. I still don't think I've got it, but my plan come to fruition, what I wanted to do. He was charging the Noble. Obviously, all of this being within 6. I deliberately killed the Noble because I knew the Pegasus leadership wouldn't be very good. And so that's literally what happened. I managed to kill him. He was lucky I managed to make my save, or otherwise we would have tied combat because obviously he outnumbers me. But I made my save, so I won by 1. The Pegasus broke. He rolled too high, and then that caused a few panic checks over here, which they both failed. So everything of mine is on the bridge, but we're playing within 3, and the special rule I think is going to come into effect again now. I do like to try and change it up a bit to make elite infantry important, so the shades are worth 2. So me and Scott's going to tally it up now. I think he's just about got it, but we'll be back with you with the end of game summary.
Right, that is everything tallied up. So who got the bridge?
We don't need no book today.
No. Well, we did. Well, we went on points first. We'll do the points first because that's not who's won it. But
Points first, it was very tight, but it would have been a squeaky win to you.
yeah,
Because of basically the pure heart again.
it's killing your poor pure
Yeah,
wizards.
killing my poor noble all the time. But the victory points for the bridge, as we said, you got it on a 28 to 20.
Yeah.
So with your Dark Riders, your Sorceress, and the Shades there, that was 28, and my Dragon Princes, my Lord, and my Ogres were 20. So that Dominion we were just saying, they won you the game really, because if the Ogres would have charged the Dark Riders, you'd have had either to flee, which then I probably wouldn't have caught you, so I would have been in business there. And if you'd have held, they'd have probably got mulched and could have possibly broke the Shades. And then obviously with all the rest of the panics with my my highborn.
Yeah, I was going to say my noble
Prince,
nearly lost me the game by what was supposed to be a noble sacrifice ended up
nearly everything.
Didn't like it, did they? But as you said, I did. I was pretty confident I'd secured the bridge no matter what. I think the main thing that did it for me was I just had a stellar last turn of shooting because I was trying to work out in my head when I was looking at it. And I think if I hadn't have killed the 2 guys that I killed, it would have been even enough that you probably would have squeaked me. Or you had?
No, I just only had 20.
Still only had, but it would have been a lot more risky on my side. Like it was a lot.
It was the magic that caught me up today. I didn't want to put the wizards in the units because I obviously wanted them charging and doing things like that and moving up the table. And obviously when it's small units as well and you've got 4 bolt throwers, I was trying my best to keep them out of it. But
trying to keep away from 2 flyers as
yeah,
well.
but losing them too early on and losing the dispel dice was letting chill winds go off.
I don't know if I'm wrong, but I did sense a feeling of anguish when I moved up to them. I think because you were in the middle of the woods from shooting, but then when I moved up, was that like a? I assume you didn't expect the.
Oh no, I wasn't expecting you to march in after. And to be fair, it didn't really bother me too much because I had a decent dispel dice then, and obviously you could only see 1.
Yeah.
So I was like, if you want your sorcerer spending all the time in there, I'm quite happy with that because I'm destroying all the stuff out here.
Yeah.
And then obviously even after you killed the first one with like a bit of a lucky chill wind, I ended up still getting an unseen lurker off the next turn and stuff like that. Possibly I could have done better to save the Shadows one, but again, I wanted him to move out because there wasn't really a lot else where he could go to try and hold your wizard up again for another turn or so to let me get at the table. But I didn't. Annoyingly, the Silver Helm never killed this bolt thrower here, and it took too long to get to that one there. Really, that was the crux of it all.
I look, the cold ones just prove cold ones always just have their own battle plan. They pretty much, I just never got a chance to do anything with them because they just screwed themselves up. 3 failed stupidities in a row, you can't say much to that. This army worked on the fact that it was just weight of shots because
it's just a disgusting army, Scott. To be honest, everything repeaters, everything.
To be fair though, you couldn't have had a better matchup to deal with it because you all had armor. If you'd have been infantry, this would have been a slog for you because I could have just shot you and moved away.
Yeah, so. Probably, but you could do that anyway, pretty much with fast cav on everything until as soon as the unseen lurkers were gone, and I didn't really. I only had I had the 2 magic missiles, but then with my characters being out. Yeah, I don't know with the scenario whether infantry would have been better or not. Like I said, this Dark Elf army is probably one of the worst. I'm not going to lie. It's probably 2 flyers with a level 4 and 4 bolt throwers and everything having repeaters and skirmish and fast cav. This
is a Matt Deary special, so he'll be smiling if he's watching. This is pretty much his tournament army.
To be honest, I'm not too worried. Before the game, when I seen your army, I did think this is probably going to be a lose because realistically, with it all, without the Coldman Chariots, you could have just held off until the last turn pretty much and then swamped it with your Dark Riders. It was only because of unseen lurkers why I actually managed to catch anything anyway.
And the bloody cold ones is the double failure of one, they're not doing what I want them to do, and they're smashing into each other, so they're not moving. But also they move forward just far enough to give you all the charges to roll up my flank. So I did get worried. It's just you got unlucky, and you, like you said, your chariots slowed down as they were coming around the building. If they'd have got just a turn ahead, I think, because you'd have then had the chariot moving about. That final turn would have been a bit more scary.
To be honest, I think the scenario made this game better. I don't think it is a scenario. I think it would have been a lot more tedious because you could have sat back further on the table.
I think it would have probably been a minor win/draw. That's what we'd be playing towards.
Well, I reckon, but the thing is, I reckon your both of us would have sat back a fair bit more to try and do it. So I think it would have just been me walking into, at least with this, you have to come into the middle a bit, which gave me a bit of a chance. But yeah, losing those wizards was pivotal. If I could have kept that unseen lurker going, I would have been able to do a bit. The only thing is, obviously, you get a lot of attacking dice, but you don't get much dispel, which obviously was the thing that cost me in the end. Those little chill winds getting after me. My wizards got froze to death. But I got a few of hero rolls to do, and so have you, my friend.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you actually. I've just got the one, haven't I? It's just
the
my
noble. Yeah, you don't get it for free.
We'll do it now.
This guy,
Noble.
he's dead. This guy, he's dead. Christ.
Alright, so you're not going to have many heroes in the next battle because it's a turn without them in it. Then you can replace them later. So
no, we changed that. We said it was just half a tournament point.
Oh, okay. Yep, cool.
So
I get a full tournament point.
Yeah, so we're just equal on that.
Yeah, because you killed my original sorceress, whatever her name was.
That wizard's lost one level. So I know which army will be the reinforcing army next time. You ain't got Aorlis to worry about. You got Lady Phelan next time, mate. I think.
Right, me old noble. How do you get on? 4.
Oh, 4. Sorry, I've looked at the one next to him. He loses 1 initiative.
Oh, I can do without that. That's all right, because he's either going to get charged or charged. All right, lovely. Well, that is another game done. We've got probably going to be, so we've got another battle. So the big siege is coming this turn. So do tune in for that. We don't want to do 2 Dark Elves in a row though. So we're going to do, we've got Dwarves and Chaos next week. And then we'll
have a roll off for them.
Yeah, we'll see who's who. I'll just let you roll and you pick what.
Higher on Dwarves, lower on Chaos.
Yeah.
Dwarves,
nice. Cool. So yeah, Dwarves and Chaos next week, and then the week after is a proper siege. So we will see you there for that.